Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Crafting Some Ambiance. Welcome back and thank you so much for returning to craft with me again. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Kerry, I'm from the UK and I share my weekly crafts with our lovely community here, and I hope you enjoy spending some time doing some art with me this morning. So, for our latest mini masterpiece, we are going to have a try at a bit of impressionism inspired by a certain Claude Monet. I love Claude Monet's paintings. I know he struggled with his eyesight later in his career with his cataracts, and when you kind of see where people experiment with how he must have seen colour, his artistic ability to be able to work past that was just out of this world, wasn't it? You know, we all know as people who either have chronic health conditions, disabilities, neurodiversities, just things that we struggle with. You know, we know what it's like to have to really struggle and fight to be able to do something, and just how valuable it is to still be able to do that thing that you love, even though your body's saying, I don't want to. So he always resonates that with me with that. I always love seeing Monet's work because for that reason, but also his use of colour. And I do like a good landscape. So we're going to start with a watercolour base layer and work up. So I think we're going to initially, because we're not going to slavishly copy his garden, we're going to make a garden. So we're going to get a little wash in for the sky, and I think that could get a bit lighter. Yeah, it's better. Maybe as well a little tiny grey through it to make it look a bit more natural. Sometimes a bit of grey and a bit of the odd little wisp through of white just breaks up that block of blue and just makes it look a bit more sky, kind of. A nice, really watery background for the green. Again, that pigment's a bit strong because this is just a base. A slightly deeper tone for a little bit of water. Again, a bit grey. slightly lighter tone going to the grass. Right, up a little. Just a bit of movement from it with a slightly smaller brush, maybe the odd little darker wisp going through it. I don't want it to look like a big cartoony outline, I just want it to be there. And again, maybe just define a few clouds a little more with this finer brush. And that's all for the base layer, because from then we need this to be dry so we can build up. So I shall see you in a bit. Right, we return. We are touch dry. I'm just proving because I am horrendous for not letting things dry. Oh, it'll be all right. So we are going to get our next layer in. I'm going to add some foreground grass in front of the water, because I think that would be quite nice, just to add a different element. Because again, we're not going for exactly what Monet did. We're going with it. We're just, you know, just an imaginary garden. So I'm just varying the tones again with some darker blades of grass, just to zhuzh it up a bit. Where I used to walk as a child to feed the ducks, there used to be reeds, so I think I'll do a couple of reeds. I think I will do a few more ripples in the water, and I'll just use a little bit of water just to soften those up a little bit and blend them in a little bit more so that you can see them, but they're not whacking you in the chops. I think we'll do a bridge. I think that would be quite nice. Let's see, let's get the form of the bridge in first. Let's go in with a little bit of shadow. So I'm making all the shadows on one side of the uprights. So that means you've got to make a decision about which side the light's coming from. So for me, it's shining that way. So the light going to the left of the upright and the shadows going on the right. And then just a little bit top there just to give it a bit of shadow from the top. Just a little drag through with a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of paint, almost dry brushing, just to give the gesture of a little bit of wood grain. And then to support the bridge, there's a little bit of wall, so we're going to get the stones in. And then we're going to make the mortar darker. And we're not gonna scientifically measure the bricks either. We're just gonna see where we want to put them. I'll do the odd bit of the black along the wood grain as well, just to the odd little dots here and there. I think there might be the odd little bit of moss on the bridge. And we're going to a couple of trees. So we're going to get trunk in, and then we're going to decide where our branches are going. And I think they would look quite nice framing sides. Again, a little bit of work for a bit of wood grain. It's very loose. Go for a mid green, and we're gonna dab it on so it's a bit leafy. That's not a word, however, leaf-like is probably a bit better, but you know what I mean. It's taking the shape of leaves. Plenty of them, because we're going for a garden in summer, because I love summer. A few darker ones. Under some of the branches and giving a bit of shadow, a bit of depth. And then some greens to kind of do like an herbaceous border in the middle, which we would then add some spots of various colours in. Maybe these are fruit trees. Just to add a bit more colour. That can be apple, that can be plum. Maybe some daisies along that grass because it's a little bit wilder. I mean, with the size of that bird, it's probably a pterodactyl, but you know. Maybe the suggestion of a little coot or a duck or a moorhen on the water. And I'd have a picnic there, that looks quite civilised. Always goes back to food, doesn't it? So, I like it. It's better than I thought it was going to be. And I'm surprising myself by having a go. And that's the important thing. Trying and learning every single week. It's not as impressionistic as Monet's, but that's okay. We weren't slaving over that one image. It's still not photorealism, it's still very gesture. So all in all, that'll make a nice addition to the museum wall, I think. I'm quite pleased. I hope you get some time to paint and experiment with artists you enjoy. It doesn't have to be the ones I'm choosing, it can be absolutely any artist that you love. Even artists that you're not quite so sure of, because sometimes if you're uncertain about something but you have a little go, it cements things one way or the other, doesn't it? It gives you your opinion. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, thank you for all your lovely comments. Thank you for chatting with me, because I love connecting with you and hearing from you. I like to know all about your pets and your favourite things and your favourite food, because it always goes back to food. I like learning about people. I like learning things from people. So I hope to hear from you soon. Stay safe, stay kind, and have a crafty week. See you soon.